a boy from the shadows. Years after the death of Maximus, Lucius Verus, now a young man in his 20s, lives in quiet exile. Haunted by fragmented memories of Maximus saving his life, Lucius struggles with identity and purpose. His mother Lucilla has vanished mysteriously, and Rome has fallen into deeper political corruption. Lucius lives among a group of pacifist farmers in Numidia, hiding his imperial bloodline. One day, imperial soldiers raid the village, taking captives, including Lucius. His noble identity is discovered, and he is sold into slavery by a power-hungry senator. Rome's new tyrant, General Marcus Valerian, now the power behind the throne, controls the emperor like a puppet. He aims to restore eternal Roman dominance and revives brutal games across the empire. Lucilla, presumed dead, is revealed to be imprisoned by Valerian. The empire's politics have become deadlier than ever, with conspiracies boiling under Rome's surface. Gladiatorial combat is once again Rome's most popular spectacle and the tool of political distraction. Valerian plans a special tournament that spans months to mark 20 years since Commodus' death. The arena beckons. Lucius arrives at a dusty North African gladiator camp. He is trained ruthlessly by a retired but wise former gladiator named Hanno. Though clumsy at first, Lucius gradually shows promise, especially in single-blade combat. He hides his true identity, going by the name Felix. The camp master, a brutal ex-legionnaire named Decimus, senses something different in him. Lucius starts hearing whispers of a legendary warrior named Maximus among the older slaves. Hanno tells him he was the one who almost brought Rome to its knees. Echoes of the fallen. In the dead of night, Lucius dreams of Maximus in Elysium, peaceful yet watchful. Maximus seems to reach out to him, saying, "Your fate is not yours alone." Lucius wakes shaken but inspired. He starts studying old combat scrolls and practicing alone after hours. Hanno shares the tale of Maximus' rebellion against Commodus, and Lucius listens in awe. He begins to see himself not just as a survivor, but a possible successor to a lost cause. "You are not just a fighter," Hanno says, "you're Rome's echo." Blood baptism. Lucius's first fight in the arena is brutal. He defeats a larger opponent using speed and intelligence. The crowd starts chanting Felix. Felix. His confidence grows, and he begins to rise in popularity. Decimus, however, grows suspicious and assigns him increasingly dangerous matches. Hanno urges Lucius to keep a low profile, fearing discovery. Meanwhile, Roman spies report Felix's growing fame to Valerian. The general demands Felix be sent to Rome for the emperor's Jubilee Games. City of Wolves. Lucius arrives in Rome, amazed and disgusted by its decadence. The Colosseum is larger, bloodier, and even more grotesque than before. Valerian has militarized the gladiators into celebrity warriors, using them to inspire fear and pride. Behind the scenes, a resistance movement secretly follows Felix's rise. A young rebel named 𝗏𝗃, daughter of a fallen senator, meets Lucius in secret. She reveals that his mother is alive and held deep in the imperial dungeons beneath the palace. Chains of the past. Lucius tries to reach his mother through bribe guards, but is caught and whipped. He survives but suffers deep scars, physically and emotionally. In his next fight, he channels his rage and wins savagely. Hanno warns him, "If you fight like them, you become them." Flashbacks of his childhood return. Lucilla, Maximus, and the Colosseum. The crowd starts drawing comparisons between Felix and the Spaniard. Rumors swirl. Is Maximus reborn? Reunion in shadows. 𝗏𝗃 and Lucius stage a daring infiltration of the palace catacombs. There, he finally reunites with Lucilla, aged, frail but proud. She urges him not to seek revenge, but redemption. "Rome will never be healed with more blood," she whispers. Lucilla reveals that Valerian was once her lover and Lucius's biological father. Shocked and furious, Lucius now has a personal vendetta against Rome's ruler. He promises his mother he'll end the bloodline of tyrants once and for all. The Emperor's Gambit. Valerian declares the Jubilee Games to begin, a deadly tournament featuring champions from every Roman province. Lucius is chosen as one of the final 7, the last survivors of a brutal preliminary. The games are now a global spectacle, broadcast with music, parades, and golden coins minted in the fighters' honor. But the rebels plan to use the games as a distraction to strike at Valerian. 𝗏𝗃 and her team plant explosives beneath the Colosseum. Meanwhile, Lucius prepares for the deadliest battle of his life. Battle of the Seven. The final 7 games begin in front of tens of thousands. Gladiators from Gaul, Egypt, Syria, Germania, and Hispania clash in epic team duels. Lucius earns victory after victory, sparing those who show honor. Hanno is mortally wounded in the second round, dying in Lucius's arms. Finish what Maximus began, he gasps. Lucius swears an oath, branding Maximus's mark onto his own chest. The crowd roars louder with each match, chanting Maximus. Felix, fire in the arena. On the third night, the rebels detonate minor charges under the Colosseum, causing panic. 𝗏𝗃 leads an attack disguised as servants, attempting to breach the palace gates. But Valerian had anticipated betrayal and slaughters most of the rebels. Lucius tries to reach the emperor during the chaos, but is held back by guards. The Colosseum burns partially, and hundreds die, but the games continue. Valerian declares that the bloodiest day is yet to come, and announces Felix will face the Black Legion. The Black Legion. The Black Legion are monstrous gladiators trained solely for killing, blindfolded, drugged, and bound by blood oaths. Lucius must face 3 at once in a grim nighttime match, illuminated only by torches. He defeats them using terrain, misdirection, and raw endurance. The fight becomes legend, and Felix is now hailed across the empire. Rome's elite now whisper openly, "This is not just a man. This is history returning to collect its debt." Truth unmasked. 𝗏𝗃 is captured and tortured, but refuses to reveal Lucius's identity. Valerian summons Felix and publicly reveals his lineage, son of Lucilla, grandson of Marcus Aurelius. Lucius denies it, fearing for his mother's life. But the people begin to cheer anyway, sensing revolution. Valerian commands Lucius to kill 𝗏𝗃 in the arena to prove loyalty. Lucius refuses, and instead kills the guards and helps 𝗏𝗃 escape. The crowd erupts. Rome's mask is cracking. Outlaw of Rome, Lucius is branded a traitor and fugitive. The Senate turns against Valerian, fearing the rebellion will spread. Riots break out in the poorer quarters of Rome, led by former gladiators and freed slaves. Lucius hides in the catacombs, aided by 𝗏𝗃 and a few rogue senators. Lucilla dies in captivity, leaving Lucius a scroll with Marcus Aurelius's original philosophy of governance. Reading it, Lucius resolves, Rome must be rebuilt, not ruled. Rise of the Phoenix. Lucius returns to the arena, disguised, and challenges Valerian's new champion in a surprise duel. Before the emperor's eyes, he defeats him swiftly. He removes his helmet and declares his true name to the people. The crowd roars, no longer loyal to Valerian. The guards hesitate. A god does not bleed, Lucius shouts, cutting himself, then pointing to Valerian. But tyrants do. War for the empire. Civil war breaks out in the streets of Rome. Gladiators, rebels, and even some senators rise against Valerian's army. 𝗏𝗃 leads the assault on the palace, using secret tunnels. Lucius breaks through the courtyard and confronts Valerian in a private duel. "You are my father," Lucius says, "and still you gave me chains." The duel is brutal, spear versus sword, until Lucius finally kills Valerian atop the imperial steps. Silence in the Colosseum. The Colosseum, now burned and shattered, becomes the site of Lucius's final address. He refuses the title of emperor and declares the end of gladiator games. No more blood for sport. Let Rome fight for peace. He honors Maximus and Lucilla with statues in the Forum. The people chant not his name, but 𝗨𝗪𝗱𝗨. A republic begins to form once more. Elysium's Gate. In a dream, Lucius walks through golden fields and sees Maximus waiting. Maximus smiles and nods silently before turning away, disappearing into the light. Lucius wakes with tears and resolve. He sets out to travel the provinces, meeting the people he now serves. 𝗘𝘃𝗲𝗿𝘆𝗁 becomes his closest advisor, and perhaps something more. He leaves the palace empty, stating, "Power should never sleep in one man's hand." The last arena. Years pass. Lucius is older, grayer, but wiser. Rome now governs with a council of voices, not a single emperor. A new Colosseum is built, not for death but debate, sports, and art. He walks alone through the ruins of the old arena, where blood once soaked the sand. Children run past him, laughing, sword fighting with sticks. He smiles, placing Maximus's old ring on a statue's hand, returning legacy to legend. Legacy of the fallen. The final scene shows Rome from above, glowing, healing, reborn. Maximus, Lucilla, Hanno, and 𝗘𝘃𝗲𝗄𝗃 sacrifices echo in every citizen's freedom. A historian narrates, "He was born from tyranny, forged in chains, and rose not to rule, but to release." The music swells as we fade to black. Lucius Verus, the last gladiator. He refuses the title of emperor and declares the end of gladiator games. No more blood for sport. Let Rome fight for peace. He honors Maximus and Lucilla with statues in the forum. The people chant not his name, but 𝗨𝗪𝗱𝗆. A republic begins to form once more.